The latest in rally news from here and around the world. R2G Rally Radio.
Good morning, I'm Booker and welcome to your next update on R2G Rally Radio. Let's get straight into it with Lani. Lani.
Thanks, Booker. Yes, welcome back to Rally Radio here at the Daybreaker Rally. Gosh, what an exciting morning. We've had a little bit of drama, lots of rain, but also some stories of success. I'm joined now by Chris Grant from ChrisSport, who's actually going to give us a little bit of a rundown on the current results. Chris, what are the results telling us?
Yeah, morning, Lana. Well, we've got news through that although the rally is running about 20 minutes late, Stage 6, big long 37k P per day stage, starts on Sandon Block Road and works its way towards the east, towards Fielding. Hayden Padden has just absolutely blitzed the field through there. We have 5 cars out of the stage so far, and Padden has beaten Ben Hunt by 1:39 on a 37k stage. So that's 2.5 seconds a kilometre faster. So Hayden Padden is giving Jared Hudson he might be doing his 50th rally co-driving, but he's getting the ride of his life today around the Manawatu as Padden is just absolutely dominating the rally. Hunt is second fastest and has managed to hang on to second place, but he's the gap now after 50 minutes of rallying for Hayden Padden Hunt is already 3.5 minutes behind. Zinel Jones, absolutely stunning performance. He has just recorded the third fastest time on the stage, just 6 seconds down on double national champion Ben Hunt, and Zinel is holding on with Auntie Waverley alongside, calling the notes, of course, in the family Skoda. They are in third place, 35 seconds behind Ben Hunt at the moment. 𝗥𝗱𝗆𝗆 was going extremely well in that stage, but then dropped back over the final couple of split points in the latter stage of the stage. She's come through 30 seconds down on Zinel Jones. So whether there's an issue starting to happen on the Citroen there, we'll have to keep an eye on that, and I'm sure Lance will update you as and when they get to Fielding. But she's in fourth place at the moment, 31 seconds down, so similar margin between her and Zinel and Ben Hunt. And then Brendan Reeves, somewhat disappointing, whether there's something again going on with that AP4, so far the unbeaten in its history in New Zealand National Rally Championship rallying. The AP4 not quite on the pace, whether it's Brendan getting used to the car, or the conditions, of course, any number of reasons, but languishing. In fact, he was beaten in that stage by his Padden Rally Sport teammate by 2 minutes 20 seconds over 37k, and Reeves hanging on to fifth place, 17 seconds behind 𝗥𝗱𝗆𝗆𝗆. And then Hayden McKenzie, he's come through next, just posted a time. I had him logged as having a stopping in the stage briefly at 25k. He has made it out of the stage. The other one I'm just actually looking at now, I can see on the Rally Safe tracker that car 16, that's Phil Macquarie in the Subaru WRX. He is stopped at 19k. And looking at the G-forces, no, it looks like it's possibly more mechanical than an off-road there. So he is stopped there. And dare I say, yet again, Robbie Stokes has stopped in the stage. He's only made it through to 5k. In fact, now he's crawled through to 8.5k with these electrical gremlins that we've been told are affecting the poor Ford Fiesta today. So poor Robbie Stokes is rapidly losing any chance of maintaining his position in the New Zealand Rally Championship by the end of the day. So certainly very sad circumstances there for the Stokes Motorsport team. As far as other results go, retirements we've had to date so far, the young fellow who did very well at the Super Special stage last night, Jared Parker, fastest two-wheel drive car through the Super stage. Unfortunately, we believe he had a cracked gearbox casing after the first stage this morning, so he is retired from the rally. 𝗥𝗱𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆, another one, out with a mechanical problem in stage 3, and our other officially recorded.
Tune in again at the top of the next hour, and for more news, check our Facebook page.
Rally gone out with a clutch problem, so he is retired from the rally. As far as the all-comers rally results go, of course, we're tracking back a stage there for you, and I'll just find the right report if I can. Stand by, caller. Okay, Hayden McKenzie was leading that, so whether that delay he had in stage 6 is long enough for Jeff Argyle to get in front, you would expect it would be if Argyle keeps his nose clean. He's currently tracking through the latter part of the stage now. Argyle was only 1.5 seconds down on McKenzie at the end of stage 5. Tim Smith in the 8.6 Magnum Subaru, a good third place, 32 seconds down on Argyle. and then it was back to Carl Robinson, William Menzies, Bradley Stewart, Ben Harding in the RX-7, the first two-wheel drive in that section of the rally, and then Paul Tulloch in his Mitsubishi, followed by Brendan Cantwell in that amazing Toyota Starlet, and the Datsun 180B of Jason Well just keeps on keeping on in 10th place as it stands at the moment. So that's your all-comers update. Back to you, Lani, if there's anything else you wanted to mention at this stage.
Thanks, Chris. Certainly, I was keeping a close eye on the two-wheel drive battle as well. It was great to see Dylan Thompson out there and Bryn Jones and Jack Stokes. Do you have any two-wheel drive results you can share with us? Because I know those guys were certainly enjoying the stages this morning and having a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, those guys are currently passing the stranded Phil Macquarie, so they're only halfway through the stage. But I'll track back to stage 5 and see what I can glean from that for you. So looking through, just scrolling down the leaderboard, we have got Tim Smith. Dylan Thompson has recovered from that somewhat awkward super special stage last night to be back in front in the two-wheel drive. After stage 5, he was 12th overall, and then we track back to Bryn Jones, who's 17th. So the gap there opening up to something like 24 seconds as it stands at the moment. So just going further down, a couple of places further down, William Menzies in between Bryn Jones and Jack Stokes in third. Jack is another 30 seconds down on Bryn Jones as it stands at the moment. So that's your top 3 in the two-wheel drive. Tim McAtee, of course, debuting at NZRC level, his new Rally 4 Fiesta. He is in 4th place in that category, and he looks to be another 30 seconds down on Jack Stokes. So all of them still pedaling along happily and at the moment.
Thanks, Chris. And I think I want to kind of focus in a little bit on Andrew Graves in the 5A class there. Prior to the event, he sort of talked about how different these roads are compared to the roads he's used to down in Southland, which are much more open and fast-flowing. And he was a little bit apprehensive about how the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 3 would cope on these roads. But he certainly seems to be putting in a really strong performance, Chris. Yeah,
I see he's just finished stage 6, so he's safely out of that one. And Callum McDonald has just finished as well. So if I do a quick track back across, in fact, while I'm on that page of the ChrisSport results, Andrew was in a fantastic 6th place overall. So whether he sits on the left-hand side of the car calling notes for Josh Marston in the Barina, or he sits on the right-hand side being told where to go by his son Hayden, makes no difference. Andrew Graves just sits right in the middle of the top 10, and a giant killing performances yet again in this, shall we say, aging Evo 3. Fantastic performance from him. He was holding a lead of 40, what have we got there? 43 seconds or 33 seconds over Callum McDonald after stage 5. And if I just get the latest for you, bear with me. I've got them there. Yep, Graves, a good solid result in stage 7th fastest through stage 6 of the 9 cars we've got through. And he has beaten Callum McDonald. What has he taken? Another half minute out of Callum McDonald in that stage. So he goes to the Macbeth stage, the first practice run, if you like, of the NZRC Power stage, which is stage 9 later on today. And we're in a situation now where Andrew Graves leads Cat 5, Callum McDonald by something like a minute and 14 seconds. So a good margin taken out of Caleb McDonald on that stage. So, yep, as you say, Andrew Graves still performing as we have just become so used to him doing so.
Thanks, Chris. I see Jeff Argyle has just finished that stage. And it sounds like that battle between Jeff and Hayden is going to heat up because they're fairly close in time.
Yeah, interesting, though. Argyle's dropped time there. There was no evidence of any sort of delay for him in the stage. Didn't slow down enough to create a hazard on the tracking system. So I was a bit premature in saying that he was safely through the stage because he's actually dropped quite a bit of time, even with Hayden McKenzie having that stoppage that I picked up earlier on, because it's basically 3/4 of a minute that Argyle has dropped in that stage. So whether he's come out on a puncture or something like that. But yeah, as it stands now, that 1 minute, 1 second margin we were talking about has now ballooned out to 49 seconds as they head off to the Macbeth stage with Tim. And Tim Smith has just finished as well, and he is another 50 seconds down. So he's closing in on Argyle as they... in fact, his time was slower as well too. So that's interesting. He's dropped another 24 seconds to Argyle. So maybe there's something going on there that these all-comer cars don't seem to particularly like the last part of the Peeper Day stage with the results we're getting through just at the moment.
Yeah, potentially. I know Jeff was talking about having some issues with his turbo at the 𝗥𝗱𝗆𝗆𝗆 service park, so I wonder if that's playing a part. But it's interesting that Tim Smith has also dropped a bit of time, so I wonder if it's a little bit slippery in there, or if one of the cars that has stopped in that stage is making them slow down in a fast section or something like that. Chris, what do you think?
Maybe. Yeah, well, again, you know better than I do what the weather's like. I'm hearing that it's perhaps what Booker was saying where he's based, that the weather was looking like clearing the further south the rally went. So as it tracks its way back towards Fielding. But from what I hear earlier on, certainly in seeing the some of the streaming footage that was out, there was that Ridge Road stage was sort of buried deep in fog, and there was standing water. So it could well be that the roads are starting to cut up a bit, and it's obviously affecting the road conditions. So I've just seen car 17, which is 𝗥𝗱𝗆𝗆𝗆, and the other Subaru WRX has just had a moment as well too. Stopped briefly at 31k, but he is mobile again. So could well be that people are getting caught out by some of the road conditions that are maybe getting tuned up by the earlier runners. In fact, Feast has just stopped again. So.
Interesting. And because the stage will be run again later this afternoon, and I did hear, quite a few of the drivers were concerned about the second run through these stages, given the conditions. The last I heard, it was raining at the stage, but certainly down here towards Palmerston North and Fielding, it has lightened up considerably. But I'm sure that the stages, as we get through the second passer of the Peeper Day and Macbeth stages, will chill up a bit. I know Hayden was sort of saying he was expecting it to be tricky on the second run through, and Brendan was also reporting no traction in his car. So certainly the results could change quite a lot between now and the second run through, Chris.
Oh, very much so. Yeah, it sounds a bit like what we see on the WRC with Finland, where they talk about these fantastic crests and brows over there. But you come to do this. I remember years ago when 𝗥𝗱𝗆𝗆𝗆 was there. She was running down the field, and basically you had to stay in the ruts, or else you were steered around the course by the road conditions. So yeah, it can be very, very different from one pass to another. And as you say, it could well be the case on these two stages this afternoon.
Thanks, Chris. I think that probably concludes our bulletin for 10 a.m, but we will be back live from the driver signing session in Fielding from probably about 10:45, 10:50 a.m. local time. We will try and catch up with the drivers there and find out what happened in the Special Stage 6 Peeper Day, the 37 9-kilometre test, and maybe why some of them were losing some time. If you are local to the Manawatu, head down to Repco in Fielding to meet the drivers and have a signing where they'll be signing posters and merchandise before they head into their service at Manfield, which you can also catch them. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate your time today, and we will be back in about half an hour for another live update where we will hear from the drivers.
Hey, thanks, Lani. Thanks, Chris. Another fantastic update by the preview. We look forward to catching up again soon, people. Thank you for listening and enjoying our R2G Rally Radio.
Tune in again at the top of the next hour, and for more news, check our Facebook page, Rally Race Group, or website for past news bulletins.